tell you what I feel about Kabhi Main Kabhi Tum. It's a Pakistani drama. It's addictive. It's binge watch worthy. If there is one show that qualifies top of that list, it would be this particular one. So Fahad Mustafa plays the lead male role as Mustafa, and there is Hania Amir playing Sharjina, the female lead. This equation of the two characters, of the two leads, is absolutely amazing. The scene that I was just watching was one where, of course, those of you who've not watched it, let me tell you that here is a couple who's totally mismatched. The guy is a very happy-go-lucky sort of, who lives with a gay abandon. He doesn't care much for the world, and he is immersed in his video games and things like that. He's like a child man sort of a person, and his wife Sharjina is very sorted. She has a job, she is organized and responsible, as responsible as she can be as a daughter-in-law, as a wife. And so she's trying her best all the time to get him in order, to get his life in order. And there is this scene which, if I just talk about it like this, I don't know how much you will understand the nuance of it. But there's this scene where she breaks down saying, that it hurts me when people call you a lafanga or a loser or a nikamma. It hurts me so much. And she breaks down. Now, of course, one has to get the background, the backdrop to the story, the backstory, to understand why that moment is so interesting. But there are so many of these emotive scenes where you see the doting wife in her, whereas to begin with, these two never intended to get married. It was circumstances that forced them. And yet gradually, I'm still mid-series. I think I would have watched about 9 or 10 episodes yet. And gradually, the way these two people, complete opposites, are starting to like each other, are starting to appreciate each other for whatever they are, and they are managing to break the stereotypes that they have about each other as well. So how that level of understanding is building up. And I think, as the viewers are taken through that journey, there's so many, of course, other factors, other elements in their lives. And each of the other characters, whether it is Mustafa's mother or his elder brother or his sister, all of them, the portrayal, the characters are etched so beautifully, so realistically, that you feel as if it's a slice of life. You've made privy to their lives, and extremely realistic. I particularly like Mustafa's father, a very genteel sort of a person and well mannered. The word, I think, is tehzeeb in Urdu, the way they conduct themselves. And I really like the way they speak the language. And even in their worst moments, the elder brother is supposedly a villain, but even in his worst behavior, there is a certain code of conduct. There is a certain decency code which even he doesn't violate. So that's how society is. And of course, there are certain things which are a little disturbing. For example, everybody's always eavesdropping. Every scene has some connect with an eavesdropping issue, and you hear something which you're not supposed to hear. And you might also, of course, question why, the gender stereotyping is such that the husband will say chai bana ke lao or something like that, which it shows how, women might be working, or she's still supposed to handle the household and she's the subordinate. So that male superiority, the female subordination is there. But then there is another side of how a woman can be the nominating person in a relationship as well. So I think the show really tries to balance that out as well. Net, I would say it's such an eminently watchable show, for the sheer fact that the actors are brilliant. Both Fahad Mustafa and Hania Amir, I must say, have done supreme justice to their roles. Highly convincing in the scenes that they portray. The scenes between these two, I think, are the best. They're very real, because then you have the best of the cast. The others, some of them, you would feel as if they're still learning the ropes. They're not as spontaneous. Their dialogue delivery is not as great. You can tell that they are new to the business. But when you put it all together, this is one show that I feel can really consume you. I have been watching it back to back, episode after episode. Each episode is about 40 minutes and they've got large viewership. Like 30 million is like sort of the bare minimum for any episode. So you can imagine, I think a very huge Asian audience is hooked to this show. So let me know what you think about my review of Kabhi Main Kabhi Tum. And I generally appreciate Pakistani dramas a lot because they're very true to their culture, and it's a very easy watch, and there is always a certain level of decency which they do not preach. That whole trying to sexualize women or commodify women is not there. It's completely eliminated, and that itself is so refreshing. It's like something that you can sit with your family and watch anytime. There can be kids around. Of course, some messaging in terms of how a woman is portrayed may be slightly off the mark when it comes to being gender sensitive, but I would say it's a small price to pay for the fact that they are trying to be realistic and trying to reflect how life is in society in Pakistan. So I think I would really recommend the show, and there are a lot of episodes. So if you are looking for something to hold you in good stead for a very long time, and it's a long-term commitment for sure. I think there are at least 30 episodes, each of 40 minutes, but you'll enjoy it.